kind of newfangled oil that's going to make you taller or smarter. What we really want to talk about is 360-degree marketing. Now, the company I work for, Sinclair Broadcast Group, I've worked for them for 22 years. I've been in the TV business for 27 years, so I know TV. But the other thing I know is in 2009, which was only 2 years ago, the economy went through the worst depression, almost like a depression, across the entire United States. Did anybody feel that in their business? Did you feel that in your business? Of course you did. But if we take a look at it, our industry, the TV industry, the monster of the industry, had its worst year in also the last 50 years. General Motors went bankrupt. Our company alone, publicly traded company, lost $100 million in revenue. That's hard times. So we're with you. That's a big, hard time, right? So what we started doing is we were taking a look at really what was happening with that recession. It was a consumer-driven recession. Consumers stopped spending money. They stopped going out to dinner. They stopped buying cars. They stopped fixing their houses. They stopped going on vacation. All of a sudden, when you see a glimmer of hope, because there are glimmers of hope, you notice it's because the consumer is starting to spend again. So what we need to do today, when I do talk to you about 360-degree marketing, I'm not talking about my television station. It's a great television station. I'm talking about your consumer. I'm talking about how your consumer is acting now that they're starting to spend money. Now, Sinclair Broadcast Group is the largest group owner of TV stations in the United States. We actually own or operate 58 television stations in 35 markets. We operate the television station that's right here. But all you really should be caring about is what's going on in Tampa, right? Tampa, can I say Tampa, St. Pete? Can I say, what else? Can I get a clear water? All right, there you go. So the thing is with Sinclair, since we're a TV company, we're affiliated with all major networks. We happen to be a My Network affiliate here, but that doesn't mean anything. That's my brand. Just like ABC and Fox, just like NBC. And we own television stations across the United States that are all these brands. But unfortunately, that doesn't mean anything to you. I'm not going to start telling you about we're live, local, late breaking, we have a new helicopter. Why do you care about that? What I want you to do is I want you to take a step back and start thinking about what is it that we're trying to do. We know that our growth, Sinclair's growth, is coming from the local market. Local businesses like you. Local consumers are spending their money. You know what? Maybe they stopped spending money, but they still took care of their kids. Maybe they stopped spending money, but they still took care of their health, took care of their home. In fact, what's happening is, what consumers are doing is they're restructuring how they buy, why they buy. They're not as flippant anymore. There are businesses here that are getting impacted by the fact that they're not just running out and hiring people. You're in the home improvement business? Yeah. Home improvement? What about you, Doug?
Restoration.
Restoration? So that's, was that home improvement or? Sure. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to show you a couple of concepts, a way to take what's going on in the economy in Tampa, step your business up, make you top of mind, and allow us to partner with you. Okay? I'm not trying to sell you anything. In fact, I want to show what we have right now is probably the most compelling alternative to what you're currently doing. Anybody in this room currently using television to promote their business? Is there anybody? I got one guy. Okay, I got a couple. What, are you shy back there? That was like delayed, right? It was like, what is my voice carrying back there? It's taking a few minutes. Okay. What I want to do is I want to take a look at what current technology is going to be able to do to change your business. But because I'm standing in front of you, I also want to talk about true 360 marketing solutions. We put pads in front of most of you because there are certain things they do want you to write. And the next line is one, I really do, and I'm going to watch you. This is an open book test. I want you to write this down. Your marketing is not effective unless it truly mirrors current consumer behavior. If you think for a moment about what you're currently doing, whether it's TV, whether it's newspaper, yellow pages, whether it's the word of mouth, or the magical internet, or some other stuff, how is it mirroring how consumers behave? Where is your marketing hitting the consumer in their buying cycle, in their cycle of thought? Okay, so just a little bit about me. I just turned 50 years old. Thank you. That's a big age. Barbara Shapiro's little boy, 50 years old. In fact, right now, I'm the oldest I've ever been. Right now. Anybody with me?
Thank God.
Anybody with me? Is anyone listening to me? All right. I really did. I turned 50 years old. I'm a 1960 baby. Now, the reason why I bring up how old I am is because I want to talk about 360-degree marketing, but I'm taking in a little bit of a time machine. I'm going to take you back to the 60s when I was growing up. And when I was growing up, all I remember in my apartment in Queens, New York, was one big black and white TV set, and I was my dad's remote. Does everybody remember that? Yeah. What did everybody else grow up, rich or something? One black and white TV set. And when we got a little bit of money, we got a clicker. A clicker. Does everybody remember the clicker? It actually clicked. Yeah. Is there no one over the age of 30 in this room? A clicker. Okay. So here I am, little boy, maybe 9 years old, and the TV set became mine at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Because when I came back from school, my dad was still at work. My dad was a plumber, so he was out at work. Who knows? Maybe he was drinking beer with his friends. I'm not sure. What, did anyone else grow up in America? So here I am at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I watched cartoons. And when I watched cartoons, I looked back. I became a voracious consumer, not of the cartoons, but of what came on. I wanted Converse sneakers. I wanted Count Chocula cereal. I wanted a Schwinn bicycle. Does everybody not remember that? I became a voracious consumer. Now, I became a voracious consumer because I watched television. Television to this day actually commands and changes buying habits. Television was able to do that. Now, I go look back. I'm talking about 360 marketing, so pay attention. Pay attention. This is a good one. So back in that day, there was no internet. Back in that day, there was no cell phones. There was no other thing going on except for that big box in the house. And that created an environment for me to make a decision. And there was a marketer in those days who used to come on television and he used to try to hawk his wares, sell what his product was. And he was a genius only because when you look back, he took advantage of what the medium of television could do. The medium of television could tell you who you are, what you do, where to find you, how to reach you, how much it costs, and where to buy it. And this guy, his name was Ron Popeil. And Ron Popeil had all these things. Do you remember Ron Popeil? Do you remember that guy? Do you remember that? What, did you grow up in? Did you not grow up in America? You remember Ron Popeil? Well, I'll tell you what. There was a guy named Ron Popeil, and he had a thing called the Popeil Pocket Fisherman. And I wanted the Popeil Pocket Fisherman. In fact, he showed me that you could put it on your belt, you could take it with you everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, I grew up in Queens, New York. There are no ponds in Queens, New York. But guess what happened? I had to have it. But in those days, he used to show the product, he used to show how it worked, and he was targeting me. Because who else would buy? I mean, anybody else fish? That ain't a real fishing rod. That's a Popeil Pocket Fisherman. I had to have it. And what he did was, he told me where to get it. Woolworths. You remember Woolworths? It's called Target now. Okay. So here we are, little boy. I have no money. I want this. So 360 marketing. He tells me I could buy it at Woolworths. He tells me it's $9.95, and I want it. So my parents went to Woolworths. In fact, we could walk to Woolworths from where I lived, and you went to Woolworths. You didn't go to Woolworths to buy, sometimes they'd buy me a toy, but they went to buy housewares and the other knickknacks or whatever they were doing. But when I went along with them, 360 marketing, I want it. I've discovered a product I want. That's what television does. I get to the store, and what Ron Popeil did, which was ingenious, which is something that you probably see nowadays, is he wanted to make sure that it was in my face. The product was in my face. Or in my parents' face. So what he did was he actually paid more money to Woolworths to place it on the end of aisle display. Do you know what the end of aisle display? You see it nowadays at Walmart. They put the toilet paper there and the soda and whatever's on sale. It's impulse items. But there's a little bit more that he did. So in other words, he got me on TV. He didn't reach my parents. But when I got to the store, I was able to point to it on the end of the aisle. My parents were able to see it. It said $9.95. But the last thing he did, and the thing that I think what really changed and metamorphosized this product was he put a sign next to the product. And that sign said, as seen on TV. You ever see that sign? All right. Has anybody ever seen a sign of businesses that are proud, as seen in the yellow pages? I haven't even seen a sign that says, as seen on the internet. I thought that's supposed to be the hottest thing. This sign still tells people in 2011, 40 years later, that there's something special about this product. My parents didn't even have to see it on TV. It gave it recognition. In fact, if you're a local business, and some of you said you're currently on TV, and I appreciate if you're doing business with us, that's great. But the reason why you should be on TV, if you're not currently on TV? Yeah. You're the one. You're not currently on TV? Anybody else? You're not currently on TV? All right, what kind of business do you have?
We do wireless repairs and accessories.
Say the first thing.
Wireless repairs.
Wireless repairs. Okay, I got to introduce to you. That's right, wireless repairs and accessories. So you've created a cottage industry on new technology. It's basically what we're talking about. Okay, so television actually brands your business. There's no other medium that you use that can brand your business. So if you're not using television, nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows what you do, where you are, how to find you. They don't. And if you think you have enough people, you don't. Number two, television adds instant credibility. Come on, let's be honest. The ShamWow, the Snuggie. Yeah, I have the leopard one. Anybody?
No.
No? But I'll tell you what, you get one for your dog now. I'm telling you, these Snuggies, all of you who don't have it, you know about it. Now, you didn't search out that commercial. You know it because you've heard about it, you've seen it, and it's only been advertised on television. We need to take a look at functionally, what is it that is going to influence somebody to call you as opposed to one of your competitors? Do you have competitors to your business? Do you have competitors to your business? Does anybody else have a competitor to your business? How is it that you are going to look at one of the most important things, and I apologize, this might be in the way, television actually increases share of mind. And if you really think about it, the most important thing about marketing is share of mind. Every single day there are people out there that need what you offer. But every single day you're not getting the calls from almost 99% of the people out there who need what you offer because you're not reaching enough of them. You're not talking to enough of them. You know what? The Super Bowl, which is the highest viewed program every single year, I saw Budweiser in the Super Bowl this year. Did you see Budweiser in the Super Bowl this year? Did you see Pepsi? What, nobody knows what Budweiser is? Why was Budweiser in the Super Bowl? Why is Budweiser spending $3 million? I don't need to see another Budweiser commercial for the next 50 years. I'll still drink Budweiser. Why was Budweiser in the Super Bowl?
Because they can afford it.
No, that's not why. I like that one. So is that why you're on television? Because you could afford it?
One reason.
Is that really? Thank you very much. My brother, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. There you go. That's a plant, by the way. That's a plant, by the way. We're going to start doing a whole lot of things here. Look at this guy. He's a lot like you. He likes to spend his money on television. All right. Why was Budweiser on television? And it wasn't just because. What's that? Well, brand recognition, but they already have that brand recognition. It's what I put up there. It's about share of mind. They have a big competitor. They need to beat Miller. Budweiser needs to beat Miller. Coke needs to beat Pepsi. Colgate needs to beat Crest. They're jockeying for position. Do you know that in this past 5 years, McDonald's wants to beat who? Burger King. Do you know who has lost market share? Burger King. Have you remembered the last time you saw a commercial for Burger King? Do you know that McDonald's sells coffee? Do you know that McDonald's sells breakfast? Do you know McDonald's says the McFreezy or McCheesy or whatever? Do you know they have a dollar menu? Are you following this? In the 1970s, we went through a horrible recession. Thank you, Jimmy Carter. Anybody ever hear of Walmart? Okay, Walmart decided in the 70s that because the recession was hitting, and they were Walmart, they decided to pull back on their advertising. By the end of that recession, Walmart lost a 20 share of their business to a little upstart called Target. And when asked what happened, Sam Walton, who was the patriarch of the family, said something that I want you to hear, very important, a marketing axiom. He said, "It was amazing what happened when I stopped inviting people to my stores." He pulled back his advertising, thinking everyone knew Walmart, everyone knows Burger King, and it was amazing what happened when he stopped inviting people to his stores. Well, I will let you know, whether you have a store or not, that metaphor works. It's amazing what happens when you start inviting people to your store, when you start telling them what you do, when you start talking about your business to more people. We need to look at what's going on in this economy. It's very fragmented. There are so many ways to reach consumers. Local broadcast television, not cable television, not the cable channels, local broadcast television actually is the best medium to brand your business. Now, I promised you when I was talking about marketing, I wasn't going to just talk about my television station, and I haven't. I'm talking about branding your business. I'm talking about changing the face of your business. Has something changed in your business in the last year? Are you doing more? Are you offering more services? Are you doing something different? Every 6 months or so, a business changes. But if you're not telling everybody about that change immediately, you're going to have a problem. You want me to tell you what the problem is? Blockbuster Video. Anybody want to tell me 10 years ago you would have said they would have been bankrupt in 2011? They didn't change their business model. Well, it's not even, and I'm telling you, it's because of consumers' habits. Okay? Anybody, we going back to the 8-track tape? We going back to the cassette tape? Are we going to, the CD is going to be gone soon. The DVD. When I was 16 years old, oh boy, did I want the Walkman. Do you remember the Walkman? My parents bought me the Walk Guy. They didn't have a lot of money. I don't have a lot of money. It went forward. It didn't rewind. It was bad. It was bad. I have a lot of issues. Yeah, I have a lot of issues, Douglas. A lot of issues. But why am I talking about that? They had a 97 share of the market of portable music players. Sony, what's the 97% monster of the music players now? The iPod. What happened? It's not even just Apple. Consumers' habits, and Sony stopped advertising. Hey, we're Walkman. What's up? We're Discman. High five. Yeah, there's a problem there. We need to actually get you to brand your business, step out, but like I said earlier, it's not just about the branding. That is one part. How about if you were able to reach a consumer the minute they needed your service? The minute. Can you imagine the minute somebody needs what you have or what you do, that you can actually reach them with a commercial? When you're ready, if there is, are there any hair salons in here? Does anybody ever have their hair cut in here? Thank you. I got a million of these. Well, a hair salon would love to reach you the minute you're ready to change your hair. The minute. Because they want to capture your money. So what I'm going to show you is, if you're marketing currently, and I appreciate the fact that some of you are actually using TV, smart for branding, but I do want to talk about branding for a moment. So let's talk about the power of brand. Does anybody ever hear of Geico? Does everybody know what Geico is? Geico's insurance, correct? Does anybody know what Geico stands for? It's an acronym. Okay, can someone that doesn't work for me? Thank you. My mother will be coming in here soon to tell you what a good job I'm doing as well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Do other people have employees like that? We feel your pain. Thank you, Ronnie. Okay. It does stand for Government Employees Insurance Company. It's been around for 75 years. It was a government employees insurance company. It served the military. A little guy named Warren Buffett, he has a couple of bucks. He bought the company 16 years ago, went to the consumer base of telling everybody about what? A simple message. Give us 15 minutes, we'll save you 15%. How many people in this room currently are using Geico? Not that, I don't see everybody. But everybody knows about it. I don't need to see another commercial for the next 10 years or 20 years, and I know what Geico does. Yet for whatever reason, in the last week, you've either heard, seen, or actually seen a commercial or heard a commercial for Geico. Do you know why? Because they don't know when someone's going to change their insurance. How often do people change their insurance in their lifetime? Very rare. So what they're doing is they need to be in front of the consumer as much as possible. As much money as you might have, you don't have Geico money. So you, as much as you're using a medium like television, which you should, you're not in front of the consumer often enough with your message. You're in front of the consumer effectively with your message, but not often enough to be there when they decide, to be there when they're ready to buy, to be there when they've made that decision with your current marketing. So when I talk about 360, I'm talking about brands. Let's talk about another brand. So I told you I just turned 50 years old. When I was 43 years old, I had a little bit of a midlife crisis. Went a little early. I went and I bought a motorcycle. What kind of motorcycle did I buy? A Harley Davidson. I have a black Fat Boy, Vance & Hines pipe, stage 2 kit, fake tattoo on here, fake ponytail on the weekend. And you know why? Because that brand is so powerful that people tattoo it on their body. As much as you think you might have a brand, anybody tattooing your brand on their body yet?
Not even me.
Okay, so, although that would look nice. That would look nice. That would look nice. So if we're talking about branding and we're talking about taking your business to the next level, I'm thinking about talking about local, but not just local, hyperlocal. That's the new term, hyperlocal. Most of your business, you don't get business from 100 miles away. You don't get business from 75 miles away. You probably don't get business more than 10 or 15, 20 miles away from your location or from where you are. How far out do you typically travel?
We service emergency 9 counties, but mold remediation statewide.
Okay, statewide, right. And those rules have changed. Insurance companies don't cover all of that anymore, right? Have you gotten any issues in there?
Well, yeah, it was an epidemic for a while, so
yes.
There are limitations.
So have you changed kind of the focus of how you present?
Most of our work is water.
Oh, water. Okay, water damage. Right. Who's your biggest competitor? ServPro?
Yep.
Yeah, something like that? Yeah, okay. Those are brands. Those are brands. So what we want to talk about is if we're going to take care of your business, if we're going to make your business jump up, we need to give you a brand that allows a consumer to have you top of mind. Let me prove the top of mind awareness. Do you know that in a good economy, if you're not the number 1, number 2, and number 3 place to call for an estimate, do you do estimates? Are you an estimate business?
Sure.
Estimate business? Anybody else do estimate business? Yeah. You can give me the hands. Come on, show me hands. Thank you. Keep them up. You really doing that? Put your hands down. Okay, so we have to build from the core. I love doing that. Wait until you see what I get to. We'll get that side of the room to do in a few minutes. If we're going to build from the core, when I talk about brands, I'm going to give you a proof. I don't live in Tampa. I live in Baltimore, Maryland. But let's say I'm moving to Tampa. And I know when I move to Tampa, I'm going to have some sort of weird bugs. There's going to be some bugs. It's hot. It's humid. Who knows? It's gorgeous, but it's hot and humid. All right, so I need an exterminator. So the first guy I'm going to call is Terminex. The second guy I'm going to call is Orkin. Who's the third guy I could call in Tampa? Truly Nolan. Is that because you work there or you just know it? You wait. But you okay, who's the fourth guy I'm going to call? Who's the fifth guy I'm going to call? Who's the sixth guy I'm going to call? I'll bet money, good hard-earned money, that there's more than 4 exterminators in that yellow pages. Yeah. Do you think there's more than 4? How many do you think there are? There's probably 444. But guess what? The economy isn't good yet. And in your industry, in your business, and what you do, if you're not number 1 or number 2 or number 3 in a good economy, you're dead. In a bad economy, people are going 5 deep. And then they don't even take you, they don't even use you. Am I right or wrong? We need to move you up the list. That's what branding does. That's what building local does. I'm going to fix your marketing problem. Here it is. Is your marketing relevant? Do you know that consumers say that most commercials bother them? They do. They hate commercials.
Ours does.
Wait, unless, do you have one of those kooky commercials? You have a kooky?
Baby screaming.
It's crazy. But I'll tell you what, that might be because they'd be bothered for one reason, because of the content. What I'm talking about is they're bothered because it's not relevant to them. Right. Oh, or that's another annoying commercial. What I'm talking about is consumers actually say that if the commercial was relevant, if the ad was relevant, bring it on. I told you, I ride a Harley, right? You want to send me commercial? Every time I watch TV, they're going to show me about a commercial about how I can upgrade my Harley and fix my Harley and get a deal on a Harley and bring it on. I like to play golf. I like to watch commercials about golf. But you know, the way television works is nobody chooses the commercial they watch. People choose the programming. But right now, if you're looking at the marketing you do, anybody in here do direct mail of any sort? Anybody in here do any sort of print? Print? Does anybody do any sort of internet? The internet. I love that one. I love the internet. I'll get to that in a minute. Oh, by my tone of voice, I don't really love the internet because I'm calling it the internet. Do you have to define or redefine your brand? Like I said earlier, is there something going on in your business? Let me prove it to you. You know why Geico keeps advertising? Because Geico has changed their branding. Geico doesn't just do what? They don't just do cars. They do boats. They do motorcycles. They do homes, right? How about this? In the 1970s, everybody was alive in the 1970s, please. Am I getting that much older than everyone? There was a chubby guy on TV. He used to run around saying, it's time to make the donuts. Do you remember him? Time to make the donuts. This guy doesn't remember Ron Popeil, but you remember the donuts. All right, time to make the donuts. What was he selling? Dunkin' Donuts. What does Dunkin' Donuts sell now? Coffee. They have redefined their brand. What they're actually saying is, I know I got donuts, but I want you to buy the coffee. McDonald's sells coffee. Subway sells breakfast. Do you not know? But there's an issue there. You know about it. but you're not buying it right away. So how are they going to get in front of the consumer? How are you going to try to get in front of a consumer using current technology to be there when they actually decide? Let's take a look at how your marketing can reach a ready-to-buy audience, to be there when they decide, to actually offer multiple ways for the consumer to connect with you. Remember I was talking about Ron Popeil in the 60s? He didn't say call now. He didn't say go online. He said you got to go to a store. In fact, the yellow pages in those days used to say let your fingers do the walking. Do you understand what that really was? That was 360 technology in the old days. That you didn't have to leave your house to go search for anything. You could search for it in something called the yellow pages. Wow, what an antiquated system that is. Is anyone going back to the yellow pages the way they used to? Is anyone going back to the newspaper the way they used to? The answer is no, no, no. Let's offer multiple ways to connect to effectively mirror consumer behavior. When we took a look, we're a television company. When we took a look at what businesses really want, we're concerned not about how much money you have. I am never going to ask a business owner how much money you have. That's rude. That's like going to a nice restaurant. Somebody comes over and says, good evening, welcome to the restaurant. How are you today? I'd like to ask you one question. How much money do you typically spend on dinner? Has anybody ever done that to you? Has anybody actually asked you when you were eating dinner how much money you typically spend? How much money do you want to spend tonight on dinner? I'm not asking you what you want to spend. I'm not asking you how much you spend. I'm asking you what's important to you. What does your marketing need to do? I don't want to hear it needs to make you money. I get it. I say that to my wife about my 3 sons all the time. She's like, what do you want them to do? I want them off my payroll. Exactly. That's what I want. I want them, when do they get off the payroll? Yeah. And again, collectively, never. No. I got off my parents' payroll quickly. Yes, I did. Yes, I'm a good boy. Nope. Nope. Okay. I apologize because I'm going to stand over here because I want to block this out a little. On this side of the board, I have the things that I think are important to you based on your marketing. What do you need your marketing to do? Now, please, I don't try to ask people to read too much, and I apologize, it's a little out there, but on there it says sell product and services today, get the phone to ring today, capture the mobile consumer, improve customer retention, add social media elements, test television's pulling power, increase market share, or reach a relevant audience. If I had asked this room to pick just one thing out of that column, because all of them are relevant, I think, what's the one thing you need your marketing to do for you right now?
Get the phone to ring.
You got to get the phone to ring. Do you need your phone to ring? Is that how you connect with your customers? You need your phone to ring? Who else needs a phone to ring? Yes, okay. So the second column you all could read better because there's no sunlight on it. But in that column, what would you say is the most important thing for your marketing to do for you today? Shout it out.
Beat the competition.
You got to beat the competition. What else? Anybody else have another thing?
Build loyalty database.
You like the loyalty database. I love that line. A loyalty database. What's that?
Market share.
Market share. You want a loyalty database. You know, what's funny about saying loyalty database, and I can talk about any of these things, but I wanted to talk to what you are, what's important to you. Really what we're talking about is there's something changing in this economy. And what changes in this economy is to acquire a new customer costs 10 times the amount of money that it does to get your current customer to come back. And your current customer is typically your best advocate. Right? We called it in the old days testimonials, good word of mouth, right? Last column, please. What else? One more, because it's very important to me that I hear it from you. Last but not least, what in that column makes the most sense that you would want your marketing to do, that you are demanding from your marketing? I got to recapture lost customers. Yeah, there you go. That was a customer you had and you want to get them back. What else? In an economy like this, it's difficult. Sense of urgency, I hear that a lot because what it's all about is get my phone to ring today, right? I don't know what's going to happen 6 months from now. I certainly don't know what's going to happen a year from now. But in the next 6 to 12 weeks, I need the payroll paid, right? I need cash flow. Okay, so if we're going to agree on this list, most people say get the phone to ring today. You see I underlined it? I'm like Kreskin. I had that underline ready to go right before you did. There's also sell product and services today if you're a retailer. But the last one is improve return on investment. Listen, here's how it goes. If you give me $10 and I give you back $11, how often would you do that? Every day. You know what? I give the bank $10. They give me back $9.99 nowadays. What's going on with the bank? You know what? The bank has gotten so, I don't know what's going on. I have a $1,000 CD and I am a valued customer. They're giving me a 0.002%. I'd rather take it out, cash it out, no, not burn it, roll around it on my bed in scantily clothes. Like you don't do that. Like you don't imagine that. You don't love money? Who here doesn't love money? You're in business because you love money. Douglas, don't you love money?
No, I just like what it affords me.
There you go. That's good. We practiced this yesterday. This was not the answer. What is that? I think I sucked the air out of my piss here. Okay, so let's go on to the next page. Where do local businesses advertise? Who uses word of mouth? Who depends on word of mouth? Please. It should be all of you. Word of mouth is very important. In the last decade, the local people, local businesses relied on newspapers, yellow pages, even direct mail to reach customers. In 1999, the magic of the internet became part. Who here has an internet site? Who? Hands up. Come on, I want to see it. Who has an internet site? While you're writing, I want to see you just pick the pad up right as you're writing. Go ahead. Okay. She has an internet site. Thank you. The internet. And now, I'm going to tell you something that bothered me in 1999. All the businesses that didn't use television, all the businesses that needed to actually use television, local television, leapfrogged over television to the internet. The internet is not free, young lady. It was not free to build a website. It is not. Everybody build a website in 1999 for free? Is anybody in this room that did? She's claiming she did.
No, I said you could, though.
You are going to be eliminated from this room. You are going to be eliminated. It is not free. I'm talking about, forget about what the cost is. I'm talking about why. You leapfrogged over it because it was the hot thing. It was the thing that you believed consumers were going to flock to. And they did, but they're not flocking to your website. In fact, in the 1999 to 2005, consumer adoption of the internet was slow. It took 5 years for businesses to actually migrate there. Not every business jumped on the internet. People were concerned. I was in a room just like this. 15 years ago, people were saying that internet won't last. Nobody's going to spend money on the internet. My kids right now are spending $1.29 for songs on a thing called iTunes. And telling me things like, but Dad, I only bought 20 songs this week. You remember when you were a kid? If you wanted the Beatles' new album, you had to go down the street, you had to go to the record store, and they'd run out of it. They don't run out of stuff. When was the last time there was a thing called a record store? Things have changed, consumers have changed. But I asked you about the internet. It is now 2011. It's kind of settled in. People are familiar with the internet. Some of you actually have internet sites, but guess what? Consumers don't act the way they did 10 years ago with the internet. They used to surf the internet. They don't surf anymore. Then they searched on the internet. Well, Google made billions on that, but you know what? They've changed their habits. They're now bookmarking sites. It's destination-based. Do you use the internet? Do you bookmark sites? Do you bookmark sites? Of course you do. Of course you do. You've got to understand you don't have a bookmarkable business. There is a hot new thing that's happening in marketing. And I'm going to ask this audience if you know what it is. What's the hottest thing in marketing right now? What's the hottest thing in marketing right now? What's that? What's that?
He said drip campaigns.
Yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, I'm asking. I'm not challenged. Yeah.
You're always in front of your consumer through the internet means.
Through the internet means, but what's
Social media.
I'm sorry, there you go. Social media, and it's called something, the Facebook. 6 years ago, that did not exist. How many people here are on Facebook? How many people here have their business on Facebook? How many people here, if you don't, are going to? Here's the second question. What are you doing with it? Do you know why you're on Facebook? I love that answer. That term, social media, that didn't exist 6 years ago. Didn't exist. And now you're telling me, well, you know, yeah. Let me tell you why you're on Facebook. Let me read your mind. You're on there because you think that's where the consumer is. But I talked about destination, didn't I? Do you know that nobody goes to Facebook to buy anything ever? Do you know that Mark Zuckerberg, the guy who owns Facebook, is trying to figure out how to get your money, how to make you spend money? Oh, they advertise. It's an advertising place, but they're trying to get your money. 600 million people worldwide are on Facebook, yet no one has ever bought anything on Facebook on a consistent basis. People go to Facebook to do what? Talk to their friends. They do not go there to buy anything. And the reason why it went to 600 million is because they have a lot of friends. You guys are leapfrogging over an unusual opportunity right now if you're just jumping to Facebook. What I want to show you is Facebook is really word of mouth. Word of mouth, bad word of mouth will put you out of business. Good word of mouth is fine, but you know what happens with good word of mouth? You can't control it. You can't control when they say it, who they say it to, how often they say it. If Facebook is the new word of mouth, then I'm going to ask you, how are you making sure that that consumer who is doing anything, following you or liking you, is interacting with your business? Do you have a Facebook page? What are you doing with your Facebook page that interacts with the consumer? You're sitting in the front, that's why I'm talking to you. I apologize. He's looking at me like, why? Why? He's going to start hitting the table with his fist. No, stop asking me questions. Newspapers, unfortunately, dead on arrival. No, the consumer, I'm not going to say because of it's not because of the internet. The consumer's moved away from it. Didn't you grow up with newspapers in your house? Didn't you get a thing called a TV guide? Didn't you have the comics? Didn't your parents sit around and the piece? It's over. It is over, done. Yellow Pages, boy, that was a smart move on the Yellow Pages. They should be running the internet in terms of search. They didn't change their habit. They didn't change with the consumer. They didn't change their business model. Direct mail, if anyone uses it, is the antiquated version of targeting. It's very important, right? You want to target an area, target a household, target a region. That's smart. But when I get to the internet, the World Wide Web, a lot of you are sitting here with websites, yet you don't know what to do with your websites. And now all of a sudden you're doing a Facebook page. Now I'm going to tell you you're smart that you're in that realm, but you have to connect it all together. Without the brand, you've got no traffic. Without the actual customer, you have no traffic. In fact, if I do look at Facebook, and we all know that little insignia, right? Mark Zuckerberg's worth $50 billion for that little insignia there. Who is it that you are actually encouraging to follow you or like you on Facebook? A consumer who doesn't know your business or a current consumer who knows your business? Current. It's current. So I'm going to say that your current consumer has become the most important person to you because they're going to tell 10 of their friends. Am I correct? Yeah. Do you understand? That's what it is. Unfortunately, what you're doing with that Facebook logo is you're creating an environment for Mark Zuckerberg to make more money. You're promoting Facebook. You're certainly not promoting your business. You certainly aren't telling them your URL or anything else about it. Find us on Facebook. On the way to the airport yesterday, I had to fill up my gas tank. I'm filling up my gas tank. I look over at the pump, and on the pump it says you could follow us on Facebook. Who's following a gas pump on Facebook? Yet it's there. In the Super Bowl, there were 38 commercials. Every one of them ended with a, find us on Facebook. Didn't exist 6 years ago. We're talking about companies like Porsche and Audi. We're talking about companies like Nordstrom's. They are all about social media. Yet it is only one piece of the 360. In fact, if I would bet on anything, we need to talk about how we could grab something and make it part of your social media connection. We need to talk about how your marketing might even be able to follow the local consumer. In fact, if consumers are going to be, and let's look at the consumer, how do they buy in this economy? Number one, they're always looking for deals. Who in here has dealt with a consumer in the last 6 months who the consumer didn't say, can you do better? What kind of offer do you have? What is everybody people just come in? What are you, a Rolex dealer or something? And trust me, if you have a strong brand, you don't really have to deep discount. Do you ever go to the mall in the last 2 years and see those BOGO signs, buy one, get one, buy one, get one? I want to be the guy who sold them those signs. There's a lot of those signs. Buy one, get one. Have you seen a buy one, get one at the Porsche dealership recently? Because I'll go in halvesies with you. How about at the Rolex dealer? I'll go in halvesies with you. You know why? Because they're a brand. Don't say because they're better. There's a brand perception. So if we could get your television could get your brand perception, we need to look at how consumers are looking for a deal. You see, a deal is a deal. Do you know that a Porsche dealer who's a buddy of mine in Baltimore told me he lost customers because in the last 6 months, he's had customers say, I'll buy the Porsche, but I want a couple of those oil changes thrown in for free. It costs like $500 to get an oil change on a Porsche. Do you know that that's a consumer who's spending $80,000 who still wants a deal? The next thing they want is they're looking to familiar places. That's what it's all about. They want to be associated with the place they like. The next thing they want is they react favorably to brands, as I pointed out, but they actually want it right now. The economy has taught us one thing. Consumers are not just flippantly spending. They're saving, they're saving, they're saving, and then bam, they're spending. You might be an emergency-based business, maybe you're in a maintenance business, but businesses have to understand, if you don't get to that consumer the minute they want it, you've missed it. The minute they need it, okay? They're looking close to home and work. 85 cents of every net dollar is spent within 10 miles of where you live and 10 miles of where you work. If you are in a business right now that you're trying to reach consumers, how are you reaching them when they're at work? How are you reaching them when they're actually near work with your message? We need to take a look at the fact that marketing is becoming more social. That's it. In fact, marketing is becoming so social, all of you are already doing something with social media. They're also migrating to mobile. That's the hot new thing. 2 years ago, I sat in a room like this. How many people in here have smartphones? Hands up, please. 2 years ago, it was 1 out of 25. 1 out of 25. Now it's 19 out of 25. What I'm telling you is they're migrating. They're migrating away from the newspaper, the yellow pages. They're migrating away from utilizing things like direct mail to connect. They're actually even migrating away from the desktop. They're moving towards mobile. So I'm going to show you in the next few slides how we're going to connect your business to the consumer that could lead to an interaction, but that can actually lead to a transaction. If your 360 marketing is just branding, it's not enough. If you're not branding, shame on you. If your marketing isn't reaching the consumer when they're ready to buy, shame on you. If your marketing doesn't lead to a transaction, then what are we really talking about here? So I'm going to show you how that transaction actually turns into a higher return on investment. Okay, the significance of capturing the mobile consumer. I'm a TV guy, and I'm talking about the mobile consumer. What I'm really talking about is hyper-local consumer. The consumer who's on the move. The consumer who doesn't actually believe that your business is viable unless you can touch them as many times as possible, or they can connect with you as many times as possible, or as much as possible. You ran to the internet. How many of you right now, not people who are doing business with us, how many of you right now are doing anything with a mobile solution, with someone who's not doing business with us? Right? You're doing business with us, aren't you? Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Anybody else doing mobile? What are you doing with?
We're doing a coupon on it.
Coupon on
Car dealership.
a car dealership, and what kind of a mobile?
It's anyone who opts in through our email will.
So you have an email that turns into a mobile? That's smart. Who else?
I run my own mobile marketing agency.
Okay, you're going to have to leave right now. I don't even understand it. I don't even understand it. Come on, I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. Shoo, shoo. Trying to steal our ideas. Anybody else? Anybody else? Yes.
I run a coupon also.
Where?
The coupon app.
So there's the coupon app. Is that what it's called? The coupon app. Okay. Anybody else? We got some smart people here. Anybody else? Innovative? People are looking down at their shoes. Does that mean no? Does that mean no? Okay. So the idea about marketing starts with branding, captivating, motivating. Branding, captivating, motivating. Once you do that, you want to engage, interact, and transact. I love the fact that you guys are doing something with couponing or mobile, but I want to take a look at how mobile marketing has transformed in the last 6 months to a year. It started very initially with what's called SMS, which is the text campaign. Every smartphone can text, but so can every feature phone. A feature phone is something that's not a smartphone. In the next 6 months, it is projected that 3 out of every 4 adults between the ages of 25 and 49 and 35 and 64 will have a smartphone. 3 out of 4 adults, 75% of the universe that you have to be able to touch. Most of them are actually migrating to mobile in the form of WAP mobile marketing. How many of you have websites again? I want to see it. All of you. How many of you have a WAP-enabled site? Do you understand? Does anybody know what a WAP-enabled site is?
No.
And by the way, a WAP isn't what Jay-Z does. He's a rapper, not a